All right. It's Beazo 803 on that social media. We're here with another exclusive interview. We got a very, very, very special guest in the building. The amazing Sue Ham. How you doing?
Good. I thought you was gonna take a stab at my first name, bro.
Nah, I wasn't. I'm gonna let you say that. Salandia.
Yeah, let that thing roll.
We gotta let it roll. I gotta let it roll. I got it. So it's good to see you finally here. We've been doing these interviews and just kind of putting out content, highlighting people in the community, South Carolina period, that's doing positive things. So definitely glad to have you here finally. It's
Thank you. So glad to be here. You know who you are?
Hey, you know who you are?
No, you don't know who you are. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate the love, Queen.
Yes.
Okay, Marine vet, 9 years, writer, producer, author, real estate investor, councilwoman, mentor. You know who you are? Influencer, playwright.
You did your research.
It just goes on and on and on and on and on. How do you do it all?
Man, for real though, through the grace of God.
Right.
Yeah,
of course.
and because I love it.
Right.
And when you love something, it's like even though you get tired, you get that juice to keep going.
Yeah.
You know. So I guess that's why I don't know if I can say this. You can edit it out if it's not allowed. But I guess that's why crackheads keep going looking for that next high.
Right. Well, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Because it does something to them.
Yeah.
So when I'm living my dreams and doing something that's within my purpose,
right,
it gives me a high. And so that next high is, okay, what's next?
Right.
What's the next book? What's the next play?
Right.
What's the next event? That's where I get my high from.
Right. I love it. So how many plays you have written that actually went to market that you put out?
I think 6. We were going strong, and then COVID came.
Yeah. Can you name a couple of them? Sort of, a lot of people are already familiar, but for those that are not.
Yeah, sure. Beautiful Minds, Flipping the Script, Rise Up 1, Rise Up 2, Salon Drama, The 4 Types of Bullying. Is there something else I'm leaving out? I'm thinking that
quite a few.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's it. I can't think of anything. So
many plays you can't remember. Selling Out Everywhere. I was a part of marketing, helping out with Beautiful Minds. Came to something that everybody ready for you to come back.
Oh, we ready.
It was. I mean, you write the play, produce the play, act in the play. I mean, I've never seen nothing quite like it. So it's just a pleasure to have you here. And we talk about all the great accolades that you have, and there's so many. But we want to kind of tell the story and kind of create a journey. So let's talk about where you're originally from.
I am originally from the Bethesda area. They call it Cades. They call it White Oak. Roper Crossroad. That's where I'm originally from. So that's why I always claim Williamsburg County, even though I live in King Street, which is in Williamsburg County. I still got to pay homage to where I grew up, which was in the country, man.
Oh,
the country.
So how was it like growing up out there? Where you from?
It was the best. It was nothing but trees, and more trees, which fueled my imagination because I love to read.
Right.
And when you got nothing but trees, you got to come up with all kind of ways to have fun.
Right.
So it was amazing. It was family oriented, and it was like freedom.
Right.
And then we had a garden. I mean, we had like 2 acres. We lived on family land. The family land was like 13 acres. So aunts, uncles, grandparents around me. It was lovely.
Wow, that's beautiful. So what was you like in high school? Because you got so many talents, so many things that you do. Was that the same way in high school?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Going to school was amazing for me for 2 reasons. Yeah. Well, probably 3, but the top 2 reasons was that was my stage. The school was my freaking stage, and then secondly, I love to learn. Right. A lot of people were like class, and I was named. Yeah. Look, most people want to be valedictorian, salutatorian, most likely to succeed, best dressed.
Right.
I was vying for class clown. You know what I'm saying? That was just, And so I was selected class clown. And so, but for me, school was great because I love to learn, much like yourself.
Right.
I have an open mind. And, being from Williamsburg County, Bible Belt County, Bible Belt, the South, period.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And just being in a rural area, a lot of people are closed-minded. And so for me, I was like, man, the world is bigger than this. And reading did that for me. It opened up my imagination. So I love school. And anytime I have a chance to learn and be around different people, watch them and see how they act in certain situations, I'm digging it.
I love it. Sue Ham in high school back in the days. I can only imagine.
Beatboxing.
Man, speaking of beatboxing, I knew you for a while, but along the journey, I remember when one of your beatboxing videos just went super viral. And I didn't know if you knew or not. I hit you like, yo, this joint is going viral. And and that was like, nowadays, anything can just go viral.
Yeah,
but this was a few years back when
I remember. You were the one who told me it was on World Star Hip Hop.
Yeah, it was going crazy.
So listen, I gotta thank you. Let me tell you why. Because of you telling me it was on World Star Hip Hop, right? And I seen how it went viral. I went and contacted the Steve Harvey show. And that led to me having a dialogue to get on the Steve Harvey show. So look at that, bro.
Wow.
I told you you don't know who you are.
I appreciate the love.
And even with Beautiful Minds, marketing that stage play, when we were coming to Sumter, I said, yo, I need somebody who can help me with that. And everybody, Beazo. And that's how we...
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Because I felt like I was a part of something very, very big. And, certain looks like that is just good for your resume. Yeah. It just is what it is. So I was like, I'm jumping on that. Let's go. We was all boots on the ground. So, coming, where you from after high school, 9 years in the Marines, was that like a family tradition or?
No, my dad retired from the Army, first sergeant. But for me, and then my brother went to the Air Force. I think he did a couple years. But for me, I was like, yo, I want to be an actor. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do the military. And then it was like, I don't want to go to college. I like to learn, but I don't want to go to college. Right. And then it was like, we don't have the money to send me to college. And it was like, am I really going to get accepted to Juilliard?
A lot of uh-ohs.
Right. To Juilliard. So I was like, what can I do that's going to look extraordinary, right? Make them think that this was really a plan A and it really isn't. And I was like, well, the Marine Corps, they're the best. They're the hardest to get into. They have the most discipline. They're respected. So I was like, I'll do that. Plus, I'll get paid to travel, and then I'll get paid to go to school. And so that's why I joined the Marine Corps. One of the best decisions of my life. Because, again, when you come from a small area, there's not a lot of different experiences, not a lot of different culture. And then when you go into a melting pot like the Marine Corps, I worked with Egyptians, I worked with Africans, Caucasians, blacks, Jewish. It was just amazing. And I got to be even more open-minded and just get to see that the world is really bigger than Williamsburg County.
Right. That's dope. So after the Marine Corps, what happened after that? You got out of the Marine Corps.
I started working as a loan officer for... I can't even think of the name of the place, as a loan officer. And so I started learning about home loans, real estate. And it whet my appetite a little bit. And then I did that for a little bit. And then I went back and I became a civil service employee working for the government back in finance. And then I moved back home and started working under the government under USDA rural development, learning more about home loans, but this time also seeing investors and how they were rehabbing houses and turning around and selling them to my clients. Right, that I'm helping them get their credit straight and get their money together, and they sitting here selling the homes and making a fat bag.
Ooh-wee.
So I was like, and to me that's art, because again I'm heavy in the arts, and so to me that was art, to be able to take something that's dilapidated, that people look at it like, I don't want that in my neighborhood, but you take it and you turn it around and make it something beautiful and habitable for people where they can share memories and tell stories.
Right.
And make money.
Right.
And so for me, I was like, I'm about to do that. Because as a young girl, we would always ride around on Sundays after we ate dinner at Thunderbird when it was good.
Thunderbird.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Thunderbird.
Man.
Yes, sir.
You took me back with that one.
Yes, sir. Every Sunday, Thunderbird. Man, the best mac and cheese your mama never cooked.
Man.
I'm trying to tell you. And
the line wrap out the door. Let's stay on.
Okay. Church buses lined up, ready to get up in that joint. Leaving the pictures of iced tea on the table. But anywho,
it get darker when they go to the
my God.
They get lemon. Okay,
dude,
let's stay focused.
Yes. But yeah, we would look at that big houses. After we ate, we would ride around and look at the big houses. And I've always been fascinated by real estate. And I've always said, man, I'm going to own several houses. So even as a kid, growing up in an impoverished county, I never said I'm just going to have one house. I said I'm going to own several houses.
Manifestation.
Yeah.
I love that. So in your family, do you had a lot of entrepreneurs as examples, being that you...
None. I mean, But let me take that back. I would say my grandfather, he was a farmer. And farmers are entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, especially black farmers, man, they didn't have it easy back in the day. Mm-hmm. So to see my grandfather live off the land, to raise pigs, to plant soybeans and go and sell that stuff, that was a little introduction,
right?
But not, you know, in the sense of what an entrepreneur is today. Did I see that? Did I know anyone who owned their own business? When I look back, no, everybody had a job, and you know that was the biggest thing. Go to school, get good grades,
right.
Go to college, get a job, or either go into the military.
Right.
That was it. There was no one encouraging anybody to start a business.
So what made you, I mean, you know, we know the journey to that point, but what made you say, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur? Like, you know, where does that come from?
You got some great questions. Nobody has ever asked me these questions before.
Really?
I'm straight up serious. I get tired of the same mundane questions. These are great questions, by the way. Well, growing up, we worked in the cucumber fields, and I was always fascinated by making money. And so at third grade, I wanted a Michael Jackson coat, and we didn't have the money, 6 kids in the family.
Wow.
So I worked in the cucumber field. 50 cents a bucket is what they paid us, and I saved my money and got my Michael Jackson coat.
Wow.
And I understood the value of working and making money. And then as I started to get older, I remember I was just like, man, I like to, you know, do what I want with my time. I don't want to go to a job and have somebody tell me when I can take off, or I got to ask, can I take off to be with my son or my daughter, or just to have a mental day, you know?
Right.
And then I was like, you're limited on how much you can make on a job. And then I didn't like the fact that people could come to work, do nothing, and get paid the same pay. But yet, because I was good at what I did, I had to pick up their slack, and I wasn't getting a raise. And I was like, wow.
I know that story.
Dude, you talking about piss. I don't like lazy people.
I know that story.
I despise laziness. And so for me, I was just like, yo, I think the best thing for me to do is start my own. And then it was non-existent. There wasn't anything like anybody at the time showing people how to invest in real estate. Right. There was no YouTube, Facebook at the time. And there was nobody showing or exposing how to do shows, stage plays and whatnot. So I was just like, yo, it's a trial and error thing. I'm going to do it. And I just jumped out and did it.
So let's talk about the stage plays. Like, what you just said, it wasn't really a lot of resources. So, and, you know, growing up, I remember everybody was going crazy about the Tyler Perry plays, bootlegging them all through the hood.
Right.
And even then I was like, that's a lot of work. So how did you get into it? What was your first experience like? What was your first play from, you know, creating it, writing it, putting the thoughts together, getting actors? Like, what's that whole process like? You know, I'm pretty sure now you kind of I don't want to say breeze through it, but it's probably a little bit easier now. But talk about when you first started.
It's a little bit easier, but when you're first starting and there's no one who has blazed a trail that you can put your hands on, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
A mentor is what they call them. It's very difficult. And again, at the time, when I did my first play in 2008, Facebook wasn't around. You know, YouTube didn't have any tutorials to tell me about it. I hadn't gone to any schools to learn how to write a script. I didn't know about the software that existed. I was writing a script in Microsoft Word.
Wow.
I didn't know that one page is supposed to equate to 1 minute of, you know, of a movie or a film time or play time on the stage. I didn't know that in movies you show more, on stage you tell more, because it's all dialogue. So when you're talking about a play, you got to have some great dialogue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To carry you through an hour and a half, 2 hours. Whereas a movie, you can show scenes with just music and keep it moving. So I was learning, and this is the God's honest truth, I would go to every professional play that came around. So when there was one in Charleston, I drove an hour and a half. One in Columbia, I drove 2 hours. And I would sit in the freaking audience and I would pick that thing apart. I would like, okay, they came in, they did this. Ooh, before they went to intermission, they left us, you know, on a woo, like what's going to happen next?
Right.
The intermission is 10, 15 minutes long. Okay, they come back, they pick up and they bring us down. But then they take us back up and they bring us down. And I'm just looking at the emotional roller coaster.
Wow.
And then I'm looking, there is no time in between the different scenes. It's continuously flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I was sitting back there in the audience. That was my classroom. And then I was like, well, ain't nothing to it but to do it. And so I got up and started doing it, and I really started learning by doing. So I hope people catch that nugget. You can study all you want, but the real learning comes by execution.
Right.
And I learned, I had an expensive education, I tell you that much.
Talk about it.
Expensive education. And so there was a lot of things that I got wrong, but I was committed because I was passionate about this thing. So I was committed to learning how to be better. And I didn't just go by people in the area to say, oh, you're great. You're the next Tyler Perry. No, I'm not. I'm nowhere close to that. That never went to my head.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm learning. I'm not saying I'm not as great, but what I'm saying is there are a lot of things that I haven't mastered that he has mastered or David Talbot has mastered. And so I just worked on it. And then lo and behold, Facebook comes around. We start getting books out there to tell you how to do certain things. And of course, by doing shows over and over, it starts to become easier. It starts to make sense.
Right.
Like, oh, maybe I could do it quicker this way. Maybe this would be better from this angle. And so
that's
like
amazing. That's amazing. So where does that drive come from? Because like you said, back then wasn't no tutorials.
Yeah.
No nothing. Just from the ground up. You going out to different plays. Gas wasn't probably expensive as it was then now, but still gas, time.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs, they just don't have that. What do you call that? It's something.
That get up and get it, I guess. For me, I'm just like, that was like breathing to me.
Yeah.
And I have listen, I'll be honest with you. I've shared this before, and I'll just be honest with you. There was a time when I was freaking pissed off with God. And I was like, man, why you gave me all this energy, all of this talent and this get up and go, but you're not giving me an opportunity to use it. And I just remember vividly, just having this thought of hearing God said, I gave you the talent. It's up to you to use it. And from that moment on, right, I was like, no more excuses, because before anybody knew how to do something, they figured out how to do something.
Right.
And if they still didn't know how to do it, they figured it out by doing it.
Right.
I know they don't make no sense, but sometimes that's how it is in life, right? You come up on your excellence just by doing it, making it better. Not doing it wrong the same way, but doing it, making it better every freaking time.
Right.
And so for me, I think I got that from God. I was born that way, but it was heightened through my parents because my parents were the type of people to get up and get it. And going back, now that I think about it, let me go back. When you asked me about the entrepreneur, I have to say my mom. Now that I'm thinking about it, because my mom used to do Princess House, Mary Kay.
What?
She wanted to be a saleswoman.
Direct sales.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you do sales, you write your paycheck.
Oh, yes.
Now I ain't saying she was successful, but seeing her do that,
Right.
now that I think about it, her and my grandfather were actually probably the first entrepreneurs I saw.
Wow.
But yeah, I think I got that from my parents, and then the military actually took it to another level. And then for me, it's like, man, I just can't come here and just, nothing against anybody working a job, nothing, but it's just not for me to go to somebody's job and sit there from 9 to 5.
Right,
and just
right.
da-da-da-da. I can't do that. I'm not built for that.
I know what you mean.
And internally what you built for.
Oh yeah.
And so then you have to internally make the decision. Am I going to go after what I'm built for? Am I just going to succumb to mediocrity?
Exactly.
And for me, mediocrity was not going to be an option anymore.
Exactly. I see you, I feel like I watched your son grow up right before my eyes. I know a lot of people probably feel the same way.
I get that often.
And you said your grandfather and your mother were examples of entrepreneurship for yourself. I know you as a mother, you're going to keep him close to you, period. But I see you introduce him to a lot of different things. He's doing clothing. He's really becoming like an influencer in my eyes. So where does that come from to really keep him under you, showing him the way for entrepreneurship and how to work the internet, things like that, because everybody loves him.
Thank you. That's my baby, even though he's 13 now and starting to pull away from me a little bit. But I used all those first 12 years to give him everything I had.
Right.
For me, growing up in Black households, if we talking, if grown people talking, get our grown people face. You don't need to be in my business.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow. But with the books I was reading and the motivational speakers I was listening to, they always brought their children around them because they wanted them to grow up in the business. And then when I started looking at the different people that I was around, Indians, they bring their children to the stores. When I look at the Chinese restaurants, their children are working the registers. When I look at the Caucasians, their children are in the boardroom. Whether they're playing or not, they're still absorbing what's being said and what's being done. And I was like, black people, get out of grown people's face. And I was like, well, how are we going to learn?
Exactly.
I mean, besides, if you're talking the right stuff, you should want me in your face.
Right. You just said a word. You just said a word.
But if you're talking that crap, then you're right. Send me away. So for me with my son, I made a conscious decision, and I have 3 kids. But Jackson just happened to be on the part where I was no longer employed by people. So he saw me as an entrepreneur.
Right.
And so for me, I made a conscious decision that wherever I go, he was going to go. He was going to hear everything. He was going to learn everything, see everything, be immersed in everything. Whether he uses it or not, I don't know.
Right.
But I wanted to expose him to everything so he could be well-rounded as far as what I could give him so he can make the best decisions for his life.
That's beautiful. I see a bright future for him. I mean,
I hope so,
he look
bro.
like a star or something. I don't know.
Everybody
he got
says
the
that
dopest
about him.
haircuts. Eat the flyest food, the best food.
Dude, he better do something because, do like $60, $70, $80 steaks. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when we're going back to Hall's Chop House, when you get a trust fund.
I'm a foodie myself. Like, where you guys find all these great places from?
I love Google. And I tell people with this day and age, I said, man, how can you say I don't know something? All you got to do is say Siri or Google and blah, blah, blah. How can you? So I got to say this. I drop this all the time, and I want to drop it on your podcast because I know a lot of people listen and watch. There's no reason that you should be broke and ignorant permanently when you have access to a cell phone and the internet. There's no reason.
Can you say that again?
There's no reason you should be broke or ignorant permanently when you have access to a cell phone and the internet. And if you say I don't have a cell phone, you got access to the library, which means you got access to a computer and the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love Google, and I call it YouTube University.
Yes, sir. Me too.
And I'll pay for a course too.
Yes, sir. Me too.
Yes.
I will invest. Before I buy clothes, I buy knowledge, and I apply the knowledge.
Right.
Yeah.
So with real estate, how was it when you first got into real estate? And can you kind of talk about any ups and downs? We've got people watching that. I want to get into real estate. Other people want to get into real estate. So kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I started real estate in 2006. Everybody was closed mouth. Nobody was telling anybody how to do anything. There were no courses to buy because, again, there was no YouTube, no Facebook, no Instagram. Now you see everybody buy my course.
Oh, yeah.
I do this, I do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I ain't mad at you because I got a course. But But at the time, again, I saw something that I wanted to be immersed in, and nobody was sharing the information. So I was like, well, dag nabbit, I'm going to learn it from the outside looking in like I did the plays.
Right.
And I'm going to just go in there and I'll learn what I learned on the journey. And that was good and bad.
Okay.
It was good because I did learn a lot. I accumulated like 16 income producing properties in less than 2 years, man. Ooh. 16 units. 16 units. Yes, I had 16 tenants, man. So that was amazing. And I was rolling in the dough in 2006 through 2009. It was short-lived.
How was it? I mean, that's a great feat, period, though. So how was it dealing with 16 tenants,
and I was working a full-time job because I worked at the Bureau of Prisons as a financial analyst. So
talk that talk. Big motion.
I tell you, I love money. I love figures. And it's so
we
funny.
Can't let that go over their head. Where you work at?
I worked at the Bureau of Prisons as a financial analyst. First a budget analyst, and then my job description got transferred over to a financial analyst.
Wow.
It was a lot because, again, I didn't know anything about property management.
Right.
Listen, dude, if somebody say I got your first month rent and I got your deposit, sign here. There was no such thing as screening a tenant. I knew nothing about that.
That's why I need to talk to you because I'm.
You brought me that cha-ching.
Sign here.
Get in your bag. Stay in your bag.
Oh yeah. Sign here.
Sold. 2 months later, eviction.
Oh man.
So I knew nothing about property management. I knew nothing about checking the credit, checking background, checking the income, checking landlord references, checking to see how you maintain your prior residence or anything of that nature. Nothing. All that, bring me the money. I got a spot. Get it.
Yeah.
I did do a lease though.
Right.
Because you could Google a lease and download an example of a lease. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I actually hired my little baby sister. Now check this out. I'm hiring her, paying her just to go collect the rent. Right. And like if somebody calls, needs something fixed, let me know and I'll pay for it. Yeah. But I still didn't know anything, you know. So it was really difficult. And then the biggest piece I want to drop is financial management. Dude, I was getting like checks for like $60,000-$70,000, man. And I'm like 28 years old. And this is 2006 now. So you got to think about the inflation back at that time. I was boiling. And but when you lack financial management, how many know, raise your hand, come on somebody, that it ain't going to last?
I done messed up a lot of bags.
Yes. And so I got in the bag, but I didn't stay in the bag. I had a good 3-year run though. But man, I don't even like to say I lost everything because I know exactly where everything is. All those properties are still there. The bank just came and took them from me.
Hilarious. Hold on. Yo, it's wild.
Like
it's wild.
I lost it. No, you ain't lost it. You know where that.
You wild.
All the properties are still there.
They got the same addy.
Same addresses. I'm trying to tell you. I got proof to prove that I own those things. You know, a lot of people be lying about how they had this and had that. I got proof. Now, they can't pull the Cadillac Escalade, the ESV long version. Dude, out 2007. I'm 28, dude.
Talk that talk.
I got the long version when they just converted to the new version of the long ESV. I'm talking, you know,
what color that joint? What color?
Cream like the hair, Bo.
Ooh,
and listen, Bo, I mean, people looking like, how's she doing that? Real estate. I've been singing this for years. Real estate pays. I had the 745 IL because I like the big bodies. I don't like no short stuff.
Talk heavy.
You know, BMW. I had the Mercedes S500. I had the Infiniti in the yard. I had the Excursion. I tell you, I like that big
motion. That's that one. The Excursion was the Excursion, the big body joint.
What? Ooh. So I mean, I had like 7 vehicles in the yard. I was living in a 3,000 square foot house.
Oh,
I was the only black on my street, the first only black on my street. It's just, man, them 3 years was amazing.
16 units. That's beautiful.
We're amazing.
Talking that talk, I love it. I love it.
But when it all falls down. People don't tell you that side.
Yeah, that's why I love it. I love it. It's authentic, and you know, you tell your journey.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people getting into real estate now, so we need to hear this stuff because everybody thinks it's just so sweet. You're gonna get in, you know, rent's gonna be coming in. You ain't you know. So we need to hear the stuff that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And getting back to you know, you're doing real estate and all that good stuff. We know you love the arts. I think the first time I met you, you was doing spoken word.
Wow, where at?
I want to say downtown.
It's so funny because I was in table venue 118 that the Lampkins own, right? And we were filming a segment for Seat at the Table.
We're going to talk about that too.
Okay. Yeah. But I was telling my boyfriend, I said, back in the day, they used to have bands here, and I did some spoken words here. And he's like, yeah, that was back in the day when you wasn't about nothing. I said, yes, exactly.
Listen, I was the DJ.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how I start following you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you was killing though.
That's crazy, dude. I love it.
You was killing
music and spoken.
That's why I was like, "Who is this?" And I was following you. I was following you ever since then.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I was just seeing how hard you go, and I was like, you know, you're just very inspiring whenever I see you on the move because you're at every event. I don't see how you do it because you know my guys will tell you I'm like, I'm gonna skip that one. I might go to this one, and I got to get better at that. But you everywhere and.
It's slowing down a little bit now. I'm 48 now, and I'm seeing that some of these events. But and you can't be at everything. Yeah. Everybody, and this is not being egotistical, but everybody doesn't deserve your presence.
I'm glad you say that because I'm trying to pop back out right now and do a lot of networking. So that was a nugget that you just gave me. But yeah, the first time I met you, you was doing spoken word. And like I said, you was killing it. I mean, you was killing it. So you still do any of that?
I haven't done that in years. I mean, years. But it's so funny because we had this spot in King Street that just opened called The Garden. And it's like an outside spot.
What?
Feels like you're in Charleston, man. It also kind of reminds me of Louisiana a little bit. And as I was in there and they had this artist playing, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling these Neo Thursday vibes coming up. I think I'm going to have to throw something here.
Talk to me. I want to just come hang out. That's my type of vibe right there.
Yeah. And they basically had country singers so far, but I'm like, I want to shift the atmosphere just a little bit.
Oh yeah. I think you can do that. If you do, let me know. I'm
Absolutely.
in. So fast forward. We know you had appearance in David Talbert's Almost Christmas. Amazing accomplishment. How did that come about?
That was amazing. That restored a whole lot of my confidence. I'm telling you, because at the time, I'm doing these shows and everything, and I'm not benefiting financially. I'm putting everything I got into these shows, and I'm just like, man, I just don't know, man. Maybe this ain't it. Yeah. Because even though you're confident and you know what you're supposed to be doing, you have them days where you be like, I don't know, because you're human.
Right.
And so a friend of mine, best friend since we've been the age of 5, she says, hey, David Talbert is doing a talent search plus teaching a class. And I was like, instantly, right? Like many people do, I instantly shut it down because I was one of the times I wasn't being open. And I was like, I ain't got no money for that. I was trying to rebound from this real estate stuff. And she said, you don't even know how much it costs yet. Why don't you ask? And it was only $250.
Right, okay.
I mean, I ain't saying.
Oh, pardon me. Pardon me.
No worries.
All right.
And it was only $250. And I'm not saying that wasn't a lot of money at the time, because it was to me. But I was like, that's achievable. I mean, I can hit up some people and get $250. Right. And then I just got to get the airfare and the hotel. And so I did it. And I auditioned. And it's so funny. This is how I feel like this was just meant to be. I was sitting in maybe 4 chairs back. David walks in. And it just feels like he's zoning in on me. I don't know because of the blonde hair or what, but the blonde hair does get me a lot of attention. I will be honest with you. It matches my personality. It was like he was zoning in on me. And then he's like, where y'all from? And I was like, King Street. He said, okay, was King there? And I was like, yeah, he was there. Because Martin Luther King was in King Street in 1966.
We talking about that too.
Yeah, So then, we start, he's teaching us drills on what acting really is and going through, and I get up and he's just like, wow. And then, everybody else in the room was like, wow, she got some skills. And then afterwards, people were like, yo, he's just like seems like he's super connected to you. And I was like, man, y'all don't know how hard I'm praying on this thing. I ain't got no money to be out here, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I did my audition, and we did our auditions by ourselves. I did my audition. And the name of my piece was, I wrote it, the truth is I got love for the arts, but I don't know if the arts got love for me, because that's how I was feeling. I feel like I was giving it my all, but I wasn't getting nothing back. And wow, that was
you just gave me something with that one.
And now I just got something from that one. I got goosebumps. I think what I was looking for from the arts wasn't necessarily what I was supposed to get. Yeah. What I was looking for was fame and fortune, instead of looking at fulfilling my soul. Instead of looking at the fact that I had the opportunity to do what I'm about to cry, what sets my soul on fire. And so I wrote the piece, I got love for the arts, but I don't know if the arts got love for me. And I know a lot of people feel like that. Yeah. And when I was finished, I'll never forget, David Talbert said, you have blown me away. Wow. Dude, when I tell you, I don't know what happened. It's like my legs gave out. I hit the floor and I was crying because I was like, finally. And I'm like, this is a Hollywood producer acknowledging my talent, and I'm just like, finally, that's what I needed. Yeah. And from there, it just, he gave me a part as an extra, featured extra. I didn't have any speaking words. So, don't despise small beginnings. But when David was going on interviews, he would mention my name. When he did the premiere in Hollywood, he gave me tickets, and when he went up there and he was thanking all the celebrities and the stars that were in the movie, he said, "Now I want to especially thank Sue Ham for helping to make this movie what it is." I didn't have any words in the movie. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, right. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have no words in the movie.
Wow.
But he was bigging me up and I was just like, whoa. And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. So when I started doing my plays again, he would share my flyer on his Twitter of my plays.
Wow.
Dude, when I say that man, him and his wife that just goes to show you, they didn't give me any money, right? But just the acts of kindness and acknowledgement, because we all want to be acknowledged. And the fact of helping me with honing my gift, that was priceless to me. And they really, man, they just helped to put me back on the path to say, yo, I'm going to go get it. Yeah.
So would you contribute just being consistent to being able to catch moments like that?
Absolutely. I have this saying, I used to say it all the time, consistency rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't be hit it and quit it, baby.
Right,
You gotta listen, I tell people all the time, when I was doing videos and I didn't have no views, I kept doing videos. When I was doing teleconferences on the phone and nobody was listening, I was pretending when I posted it back to Facebook, like I had 1,000 people. Like like people sending me questions. Okay, we got a question from wasn't nobody there but me.
Hey, I love it though. I love it.
But I stayed consistent. And because of that consistency and whatnot, it got me interviews, and it got me a storage house full of content that I could release over and over and over again.
Just was talking about that today. We was talking about the views, trying to get the views up. But I said, man, we got over 50 pieces of content we can repurpose.
Yes.
Wow, pardon me.
No worries. And let me tell you something. When you do grow that fan base, and I know it because I'm a consumer too of good things, your people are going to go back looking for that content. And so let's just say you got one video out. No, let's say you got 5 videos out and one goes viral. And they go and looking back and you only got 5 pieces of content.
Right.
I'm done with you.
Right. You're right.
But if you've got 50 pieces of content, 1,000 pieces of content, people get lost in your stuff and they start sharing it and telling other people.
Exactly. In your book, Your Dreams Matter,
God.
you got a chapter called Consistency Matter. And you just said, one of your favorite sayings is consistency rules. So let's do a deeper dive. Like, how do you build up being consistent for the people that's watching, entrepreneurs? I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, and that's our biggest problem. Staying consistent. And I guess because it's, sometimes you get a lack of motivation or, stuff like that. I talk to different people and they express that a lot. So how important is it to be consistent? And, what are some things that people can do to build that consistency and that confidence to stay, just in the fight?
Well, one of the things you got to realize is that it takes more than motivation to succeed. That's a ebook. I think that's a free ebook on my website. It takes more than motivation to succeed.
Plug the website real quick.
SueHam.com.
SueHam.com.
But yeah, it takes more than motivation. I think it was Jim Rohn who says motivation is just like bathing. It's something you got to do every day. Right. You got to read. You got to make yourself go do something. So for me, I think, and it seems so cliche, but it is the truth, man. Define your why. Write down your goals, because it's just like I was a Marine, and it's just like if you don't have a plan, we have this saying in the Marine Corps: prior planning prevents piss poor performance. And if you don't have a plan, you're going to wander around aimlessly. So have a plan of what you're going to do. And I know this from experience. If I don't write down what I'm going to do the next day, I try to write it down at night so that my brain can, subconsciously think about how I'm going to accomplish it effectively. But if I don't write it down at night and I get up the next day and I don't have anything, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So write out your goals and what you want to do. Understand what your why is, and then celebrate your small successes. Everybody think, I can't celebrate until I get this, because they think that what the world determines as success is success for everybody. For some people, success might be getting somebody to smile. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, that's a big thing for me. Or getting somebody to say, I had an aha moment. It doesn't necessarily equate to $2 million or 4 or 5 mansions. So And then just discipline, working that discipline muscle.
Right.
It's just like with sports or anything. You got to stay focused and you got to work that muscle. So every day, in order to build that muscle, you got to do that thing over and over. You got to commit to it. And I think it's got to be like breathing. If you breathing, you should be doing it.
That's a bar. That's a bar right there. So how is it important? You're an author, countless books. This is one I personally purchased myself and enjoyed. How important it is to be an author, leave your work here to, be around forever for entrepreneurs and people like you that, aspire to be something bigger.
Thank you for purchasing that. I remember you purchased that at the Play, didn't you?
Yes, you
did. It's very important. I've learned that it's important for my family, but not just my family, for everybody to know who I was. My goal is to try to get everybody in the world to know who I am. That's a big goal, which I will not accomplish it. But the fact that I'm working towards it means I'm working hard.
Right.
So, because I don't know who my great-grandfather is, I don't know on either side, my maternal or paternal. I don't know who my great-grandmother is,
right.
On my paternal side. And I was like, I don't want my kids to be like that. Because what I've seen in other cultures, they have pictures and paintings and they have stories about who this person was, how they started that and this and that. And I was like, I can't even, I don't have nothing,
right.
And so for me, when they created the cell phone, I started documenting everything. People were like, you always got the phone up, you're always recording videos. I said, because you're going to know I was here.
Right.
I want to inspire as many people as I can, dead or alive. I want my children to be able to have material they can go back and say, oh, this was my great-grandmother. This is what she did. Oh, maybe this is why I have the voice that I have, because I got it from grandmother. I don't want them to be like, I wonder what my great-grandmother would have been like, or what she would have liked to accomplish in life, or what was her biggest fear, or I wanted to be there for them because my dad died at 56 and there are a lot of unanswered questions that I have. I didn't know until maybe about 5 years ago what my mom really wanted to do, what her dream thing was, and which is being a saleswoman. She actually said it. And then she said, secondly, to be a stewardess on an airplane.
Wow.
But they didn't readily give us that information, and so I don't want my family to have to search for that, but not just my family, the world. I want to inspire as many people as I can, dead or alive.
Awesome. Love it. I see where you've been on with Darcy Strickland's WLTX, A Seat at the Table. How did that connection happen, and how was that experience? I know you've been on there several times, and one coming up here soon, right?
Yeah. Well, that started because of the work that we do in Williamsburg County through the arts, county council, giving back to the community, education, and just being involved. And so one of the residents there, Miss Sonia Rush Harvin, contacted Darcy, because Darcy's in Columbia now. She's like 2 hours away from me. Right. But of course, the internet makes us feel like we're at each other, But and she said, hey, I think that Sue would be a great candidate to be on Seat at the Table. And again, because I have my work out there, right?
Got your work out there.
You can go to the website. You can go to the YouTube channel. You can go to IG, Twitter, Instagram, and you can see the things I've done. You can pick up the phone and call people and verify that, okay, it is what it is.
Right.
And so Darcy said, I think you'd be a great fit. And I was like, oh my God. And they actually came to my studio and interviewed me, man. And I was just like, wow, this is super amazing. And it just makes me go back to do not despise small beginnings, stay consistent. And you can't handle a lot until you can show that you are handling a little bit. And so we want the lot.
Right there.
Man, we want the lot ASAP. I mean, I know it. I see it. I see it too. I'm looking over the mountain and I'm seeing the honey pot.
ASAP.
But my goodness, before I can get to the honey pot, there's a mountain, right? Either I'm going to tell that mountain to collapse, and I still got to take steps to get to that goal,
right,
or I'm going to walk up the mountain and then come down the mountain. However, which way you want to do it, you still got to get there, and you still got to show yourself approved with a little bit before you'll be given a lot.
I love that. That's a good message right there, and I definitely take that to heart.
Yes, sir.
With all the many successes, you've been on the Steve Harvey Show twice. You got your own show, My Dreams Matter. How's that going, by the way?
It's going pretty good. We were supposed to have our first debut October 28th, but we're moving it back to November because we just had so many new things happening in the pipeline. But we're still going to debut. Right. I think it's November 21st we'll be debuting.
Okay. And how can people tune in real quick?
They can watch it on Roku. There is a cable channel as well. But the best way to get that information is just go to suham.com /TV, and all the information is there.
Love it. So many successes, so many great things you're doing, and then you put a studio in your hometown. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Even my DJ Faye was like, I saw that somewhere. Riding through town, and then you become a councilwoman. Pouring back into the community. So a lot of people don't do that. So where did that come from? Where you wanted have that a part of your career and legacy?
I never thought I would go into politics because it's all about politics and the negativity of politics. And I actually wanted to give it a new face. And I got to tell you, that's probably like one of the most challenging things that I've ever done, because when you got a good heart and you have ideas, it's really challenging when you're bucking against a system that's been in place for so long. But then on the opposite side, it's really challenging also because when you're dealing with the people who've been disappointed for so long, their mindset most times is ain't nothing gonna change. And I think not just where I live, but I think everywhere, everybody is looking externally and outside to everybody to change their conditions when the real change starts inside. And I was just like, if I can inspire enough people to realize that the real change starts inside, and if we can change those things that are not the way we want them, then change will come. And if the things that we desire to have here are not here, if we create those things, they will be here. Government is not going to create a lot of those things. Right. Small towns thrive off of small businesses, and small businesses thrive off of people coming and patronizing them. Right. So, there's two parts to the equation. And so that's been my message. And I'm like, I'm not a savior. I can inspire people, but they say one person can change the world. And I do believe that in a sense, but I also know that we are stronger together. Right. And so when we can get a lot of people on the same page for a common goal, like the Marine Corps taught me, man, we can blow up some stuff. Right. I love it. I love it. Cause I was watching the whole journey and I was like, she's doing everything. And I look to you as just as inspiration because I kind of carry the torch from my city. If I say there's a goal, it's a goal. And I look at you and you just like, you're big to me. You're blowing up. So I'm like, wow. And if your name's on it, it's official no matter what it is. You say try this restaurant, you better try it. It's this event, you need to be there. It's going to be dope. So I just find that to be amazing. And for me, I just love to see it. And it's always just very, 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 very inspiring. Can I say something about that? Speaking to that about your presence, your presence can't be everywhere. And so because I built up that trust with the community, and I don't take that for granted, I'm very careful about how I open my mouth up on certain things. If I don't like something, I just won't say anything, right? But you're not gonna make me say I like it, because people are gonna be like, Sue, really? But then again, what I like is subjective anyways, right? So just because I like it, you might not like it. Yeah. But also, people will try to pull you into stuff because you're influential. And so you have to be careful about how you influence. Yes. And so I just want to go back to that. Sometimes you can't go to every invite. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because what you just said about me, I see in you for Sumter. I look at the way you promote your city. I look at the way you promote people. I look at the way you help people, how you give out all this information freely, free of charge, how you set up events free of charge, and they don't really understand it's free to y'all, but it ain't free to him. Right. Because it costs him his time, his knowledge, the money he invested to learn that, the venue, the promotions, the DJ, whatever it is that is associated with that. And he's doing that because he has the love for y'all. And so when I see you, I see myself. And that's why I'm like, wow. And I got goosebumps again. Wow. And so you ain't know I'm not lying. There it is. But I see myself. That's big. And I know sometimes, and I just want to say this to you, I know sometimes it can get hard, bro. Because look, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, why am I worrying about everybody else when I got me? I'm good.
I was there for a minute. I had to snap out of it.
I'm like, I'm good. Why take on all this other stress that people, and it seems like they don't appreciate it.
That's why I asked you about a councilwoman, because it's like, you good. You
Yeah.
know, why, but I understand it, though.
I felt like I wanted to bring some honesty to it and just another set of eyes to the situation. And I really wanted to see how things were from the inside.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Like I said, for me, it's very inspiring because sometimes it's like, I'm over it. But then I see people like you and I'm like, I got to keep going. I'm not going hard enough. Let's turn back up. Let's go.
I promise you, there have been days when like, yo, I'm just make sure me and mine good. And then I see you marketing. You got to do it. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, let me get back in the bag.
Well, you interrupted a few of my Netflix sessions a couple of times because I'll be watching Netflix, chilling, I scrolling Facebook. You hitting them, bang, bang. I'm like, let me turn this thing on. Let me get right. And I'm like, yo, if she over there going crazy, I gotta go crazy too. Cause content is king. We gotta stay in their face. We gotta, give them valuable content.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. You being an influencer, how important it is to, of course, be consistent, but put out great content. And do you got like a schedule or just kind of when you get inspired?
Just like when I feel inspired, but I'm mostly posting most of the time. I'm trying now because I'm so busy to set up automated posts. So people think I'm on. And I'm really not. And I'll come back, like I'll pop on for 10 minutes every hour. It's the head of the hour. Okay, let me pop on and see who's commented or said anything.
That's a good strategy.
Because it's just so much going on. But to me, positive content is important. Now, of course, if I go in there and pick up my picture camera phone and say, I'm about to shoot up the place, I'm going to get 1,000 people on the live.
Yeah.
But if I say, hey, I want to tell you how to become financially free. 10 people.
Oh yeah, trust me.
But then, but for me, still, I'm like, yo, numbers. I don't let the numbers affect me anymore. I'm just like, yo, who? And I had to come to terms with that because I'm like, the people I want to help the most, they're not receiving it, and that was bothering me.
Oh yeah.
And I had to come to terms with who I'm supposed to help is who I'm going to help. Who my tribe is who my tribe is. I'm not gonna switch it up to get likes. I'm not gonna switch it up to get shares. None of that. I'm just going to be authentically me, and this is the content I want to put out. There's so much negativity. I want to do positivity. And that's why I picked up my picture camera phone years ago in Williamsburg County, because I felt like the media was just putting out negative stuff about our county.
Right.
And so I picked up my picture camera phone, for y'all don't know, cell phone, and I started going around to different places, and I started highlighting the great things that people were doing, because I was just like, I'm not going to complain and whine. Again, if the thing is not there, create it, right? Why complain and whine?
Oh yeah.
When you have the ability to change it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, good content is important. Positive content is important because we're already bombarded with a lot of negativity and a lot of untruths, and unfortunately, people are gullible, and we believe everything we see on social media. Just like these fictitious magazines that might put up that somebody's died, automatically rest in peace. Did you fact check the source?
They don't do no fact checking at all. They just go and run with it.
Yeah,
they just run with it.
Yeah.
And so, what do you got coming up? In the future right now. What you working on?
So we got the TV show that's coming out in November, Your Dreams Matter. Still working on the short film, King and Kingstree.
Yeah.
People are asking me about new stage plays, bro. But listen.
We ready for it.
I'm ready too, but listen, this inflation and this economy and what people got to understand is we do great, excellent, and I'm not being egotistical. I'm just gonna say we do great stage
talk
plays.
That talk.
I'm talking that talk. I'm talking about
talk that talk.
Pristine sound. Great actors, great sets, and that stuff takes thousands of dollars, right? So you can't come and think you're just gonna give me $10 at the door because it won't work. So for me, with the way prices are going up, I just don't know about doing a stage play anytime soon because I'm gonna need about $40 a ticket, and really, that's not a lot to command because when I see people driving 2 hours and paying $120 a ticket and putting in gas,
I think it can happen.
And eating.
I think it can happen.
If you think it can happen, we'll make it happen.
I'll help you make it happen.
All right. Well, we might be coming back to something
let me know.
in 2023.
Let me know. Which one you bringing? Which one you gonna bring?
I might do something new. I got some romantic stuff I want to bring with some comedy and stuff. So I write my plays to where it appeals to men and women.
Okay.
So I don't just like appealing to one sex. I like to appeal to them all.
Gotcha. Anything else we can look forward to?
What else I got going on?
A million things going on.
A seat at the table that's going to be coming out in November. I think it's coming out right before Thanksgiving on WLTX channel 19.
Okay.
What else? I'm still doing the properties. I got back, so we didn't really finish that, but I got back into the game, y'all.
Oh yeah. She got back into the game. Tell them about the experience so far.
I got back into the game after having an expensive education, a bankruptcy education. I got back into the game, and so now I'm teaching other people how to do it, and I'm teaching them how to actually find properties and fix them if they want to fix up the neighborhood, like myself, and rehab them. I like to do that. Or if you want to get into properties that's already turnkey, meaning you don't have to do anything to it. That's automatically inheriting a business because you're putting a tenant in and making cash. I teach you how to do it that way. I teach you how to get subject to properties. So, or if you want to wholesale, I've got a friend, Sheena Mullins, that can help you wholesale. Well, you don't even have to have any money up front. You identify properties, find a buyer, and sell it, and you're the middle person, and you collect that money. So, it's just I'm back in the real estate. I love it. I get to provide housing for people. I get to clean up the neighborhood, and I get to make money.
So do you have a webinar coming up or any seminars coming up?
Yeah, they can check it out at moneywithrealestate.com. Moneywithrealestate.com.
So if you want to get into real estate, you need to check that out. Real estate is very important. How important is it for Black people to get into real estate right now?
It's very important. It's always been important. If you think about it, we've always fought over what? Land. And why do we fight over land? Because land has the oil, got the gas, that's where I can put the buildings that you frequent. All of that. So land has always been very important. Columbus came over here because he wanted the land. They wanted new land. So it's very important. Ownership is very important. At one point in time, and I didn't learn this until about 2 years ago, I learned it from Maretta Wilson. She said, land is so important that at one point in time, if you were not a landowner, you could not vote.
Yeah, I remember. I read about that. That was like something the British came up with. I read something about that, yeah.
That shows how important land is.
Yeah.
So, and ownership, you want something to pass on to your family, man. And at the end of the day, I know we truly never own anything, but dang on it, you can manage it while you're here. Put it in your name, pass it on, and give your children a leg up. So, I'm not for like having my sons. Like I have 2 sons and a daughter, and my grandson being spoiled, but I am about. Look, if I can help you struggle less, I'm about that life.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I'm about that life.
Yeah,
so.
we got to do that for our children. I watch you all the time on Facebook, and I'm seeing you going to houses, you showing videos, rehabbing them. The other day you posted something about having to get rid of contractors, and I mean, she really just brings you in. So if you're not following her, you need to follow. She already got a gang of followers already, but we need some more. So follow her. Where can they find you on social media?
Everything is all the same. You can go to Suham, SUEHEM. It'd make it even easier. Just go to suham.com. All my social media outlets are right there. But look up Suham, the lady with the blonde hair, and that's me.
Oh, yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming out. Like I said, Marines, writer, producer, author, real estate, councilwoman, mentor, influencer, just an all-around amazing, beautiful woman. And we definitely thank you for coming out and, being in front of our audience. And we really just want to inspire people and really show that there's great things going on in South Carolina, with great people, leading the way and leading the charge. So I got to ask you before you go, though. You went viral with the beatboxing. So what's your favorite hip-hop song of all time?
Oh, dude, how you gonna do that? I'm gonna have to. Oh man, why would you do that?
I gotta ask you that.
Oh well, I guess I have to go back to the Fat Boys. Fat Boys are back, and they can never be whacked. The Fat Boys are back.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
I know we probably talk for hours and hours, but you're always welcome to come back. You got something going on you want to talk about, your family. So I thank you for coming out. And, y'all tune in. Like, comment, subscribe, share this. Make sure you follow her. My name is Beazo, Beazo803 on that social media. And this is my special guest,
Suham, baby. And thank you for one of the best interviews I've ever had in my life.
Real?
I mean that. I mean that.
Wow. Okay. Let me get myself back. Right. I appreciate that.
It's the truth, baby.
I thank you. Y'all tune in, like, comment, subscribe, share this, Follow us. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Peace.